Hello there, folks. I'm the Blockbuster Beach Bum. Today, I'm going to be talking about a film that came out a while ago and a film that came out just last weekend. Those films are Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2. It's the first Kick-Ass. I rented it from my public library because I hadn't seen the film in about 3 years. Actually, the first time I saw the film was under interesting circumstances. I was with a bunch of my friends, and we essentially got a private screening of the film. There's really nobody else that was in the theater, from what I remember. And for the most part, I think we all liked it quite a bit. It was a really interesting take on the superhero genre, but I'll get more into that as I go on with the review. 3 years later, I just saw Kick-Ass 2 with a good friend of mine, and yeah, well, for the most part, I really liked it. Not as much as Kick-Ass 1, but still, I really liked Kick-Ass 2 very much. So, Kick-Ass 1 is essentially, it's a heightened reality, but at the same time, it's not like, you know, a universe where somebody like Superman or Batman could exist. It's basically where somebody like you or me becomes a superhero, and it really shows you how painful it would be if somebody, you know, really were to try to become a vigilante and take justice into their own hands. And I really like the movie quite a bit. And it's not just a superhero parody film, it's also just a very good movie in its own way. Our main character is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, Kick-Ass, or Dave, and he's not really that special, except, you know, he has, you know, weird nerve endings, which means he can take pain better. Something like that. But, you know, he really digs comic books, and he's kind of like, yeah, he's a really relatable character. He's not really special or unique in any way, but he decides, you know what, I want to become a superhero. And Kick-Ass becomes the in this universe at least, the first superhero to really get media coverage. Even though there are other vigilantes out there, which include Big Daddy, played by Nicolas Cage, and you have Hit Girl, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, who's gotten onto a very good career now, and I look forward to more of her performances in the future. Now, the film itself also has a really cool villain, played by Mark Strong, and his son, Red Mist, is played by Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Something, I can't pronounce the name, but he's kind of a nerd too, but he's like rich, and he wants to be a part of his father's business, but at the same time he didn't want to betray Kick-Ass, because he kind of likes Kick-Ass. And I like Mark Strong's character because he doesn't take BS, and he's just, he basically says with this movie, I could play a good Lex Luthor, and I hope genuinely he does get selected to be Lex Luthor in the Superman Batman movie. I think what everybody remembers from this film most are the really amazing like action sequences, especially those of Hit Girl. What's really interesting is that the character of Hit Girl is essentially like 12 years old. She's a little kid, basically, you know, dishing out this punishment and cutting things and using butterfly knives and, you know, giant weapons. You know, she's really violent. It's because her dad raised her like that. And I don't think and the thing I like about the Hit Girl storyline is that it's not just, oh, well, isn't it funny that this girl is kicking ass? No, it's not, because, you know, Nicolas Cage, because of this crime lord, took away his daughter's childhood, essentially, which is one of the lines in the movie. You owe her a childhood. And, you know, which makes it more interesting when we see her in Kick-Ass 2 trying to fit it into a high school environment. Do I have any major criticisms of the film? Not a whole lot. Maybe I would have liked to see more development for certain characters, however, like the father character of Dave, however, he gets more development in Kick-Ass 2, which I'm glad about that. And I also wanted to see more, you know, psychological stuff with Hit Girl and her being, you know, just so ultra violent, you know, and they deal with that in Kick-Ass 2. So that's very good. And also, some of the stuff gets a little bit over the top, especially in a universe that we're supposed to kind of take seriously. But as a whole, Kick-Ass really works well. And it's not just really a superhero parody film, but I will mention some elements of superhero parodies that I did like. I did like that Kick-Ass wasn't really profiting from being Kick-Ass. And what I meant by that is, let's think about like Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. You know, they created Superman, but they didn't profit from him as they should have. Or Bill Finger, one of the co-creators of Batman, didn't profit from Batman the way he should have. It's a really nice commentary on like certain media icons, how other people can profit off of them even though the creators don't. And yeah, that's really about it. First Kick-Ass is a really good movie, and I really enjoyed revisiting it. This evening I checked out Kick-Ass 2, which was a film I was kind of looking forward to. It looked really interesting. I remember I liked the first Kick-Ass. I'll check this one out as well. And I really liked it. Now, this film takes place a few years, I believe a few years after the first Kick-Ass. Hit Girl is entering high school. You know, Mindy, as she's called. I forgot to say that. And she's trying to fit in. Now, her father's, partner, I believe Marcus, is a great character. And he's essentially Hit Girl, Mindy's guardian. And he has to make sure she doesn't do any of the things that Big Daddy had her do. And I really like that part of the story where she's trying to fit in as a normal teenager, but whatever, circumstances are just preventing her from doing so. Then you also have the character, Dave, who's kind of, in a predicament with the superhero thing and really, is trying to get back into it. And then he finds out that there are superheroes who are influenced by Kick-Ass. And I really like that because, Kick-Ass is a pretty humble character. I think, he's not the type of guy who's the total badass. He's not the character you'd be like, I want to be that guy. But he's the guy who's like, wow, I really respect what he's doing, and that's what these other superheroes do. Then we have, the character of Colonel Stars and Stripes, played by Jim Carrey, who leads the Justice Forever. And he's a born-again Christian, and I really liked his character a lot. I wish he was in the film more. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Now, the other thing is that we have the character, the Red Mist character. He wants vengeance against Kick-Ass. And he decides to become the world's first true supervillain. And he wants to lead a team of supervillains, which I will not mention the team, and I don't want to mention his new character name in this film because it's really inappropriate for me to say. I don't want to get this, this video to be too, I just don't want to say it. It's because I don't feel comfortable in saying it in front of my fan base. But needless to say, it's pretty comical. And I really liked his character a lot in this. He was one of my favorite elements in the film. And and the weird characters that we have, especially Mother Russia, are really interesting. It's really a lot of fun to see all these new superhero characters. And Kick-Ass 2 kind of does what a superhero sequel should do. We've established our main characters in the first film, so we're going to have a lot more fun in this one. There are some more problems in Kick-Ass 2. First off, you have a romance that Kick-Ass has with a character called Knight. Female dog. I'm just going to say that. It's kind of just rushed, and yeah, there's like stupid scenes that are just really rushed, and certain character development that's kind of pushed to the side for other elements. And I felt if those things were cut out, we wouldn't be missing a whole lot, and it could have resulted in a better film. In terms of the action scenes, a lot of the earlier action scenes are okay. I liked the action scenes in first Kick-Ass more. That is up until the final act. The third act action sequences in Kick-Ass 2 I like more than Kick-Ass 1. Because we basically have an entire onslaught of superheroes and supervillains going at each other. And I really dug that a lot. And I like how this film ended. I really did. It's just the way it ended, I'm like, that's a good way for this movie to end. And overall tone, I would have to say this the tone of this movie feels very much like as if almost if Matthew Vaughn directed this movie. Matthew Vaughn directed the first Kick-Ass and also directed X-Men First Class. Director of Kick-Ass 2, I forgot the guy's name, but he does a good job replicating the style and tone of the first Kick-Ass. And I really dug that a lot. I also like the fact that the characters, that there are certain, I don't want to spoil the first movie, but there's certain characters that still have a certain presence, even though events might have prevented that from happening in the first movie. And that's really all I have to say. The first Kick-Ass, I think, is a really nice first movie in a series, and Kick-Ass 2 is a really good, entertaining continuation that has some problems, but ultimately gets over them with some strong performances and some strong story elements. So I'd say check them out. Next time on the Blockbuster Beach Bum, I'm going to be talking about the horror that can only be described as Jack and Jill.